Hey, how's it going? My name is Dalton Kaiser, and currently I'm the RA at Newman Hall. And today I'm making this video for the Student Staff Training Final Assessment Case Studies. So basically, what we have to do is go through a few scenarios, and we just have to pick two, and just explain what will we do during that scenario. So today I'll be going through Scenario A and Scenario E. So first, with Scenario A, it basically says, Marcus is a first-year student who has come to you previously regarding concerns that they have about their relationship with their roommate. At the start of the semester, Marcus and their roommate agreed that they should have, if they should have guests over, that the guests should be required to wear masks and stay on the side of the room designated to Marcus's or their roommates respectively. According to Marcus, moments ago, they walked into their room to find a friend of their roommate sitting at Marcus's desk without a mask on. According to Marcus, this is the second time that has happened this semester. Marcus is clearly distraught and is coming to you very concerned. So, the first question. What would you do in that scenario? So first what I would do, and the main thing that I would do, is focus on the roommate agreement. Marcus and his roommate should have made one, and if they did make an agreement where no masks were allowed, that is violating the roommate agreement. So there should be some consequences possibly met to Marcus's roommate because they agreed to have masks on at all times and to stay on their side of the room, not Marcus's. To reassure that this is also a recurring problem, I would also talk to Marcus's roommate to ensure that I'm also getting the full picture rather than just one side. Going to the second question, how would you advise, support, and or educate the students involved? What I would advise to do is I would advise Marcus just to keep doing what he's doing because he's following the roommate agreement. However, for Marcus's roommate, he's currently violating the roommate agreement. What I would advise is if they want to meet in the middle, again, but maybe elsewhere than they have before, maybe to make a new roommate agreement. But if they don't want to do that, maybe if this is a recurring situation, I would encourage Marcus to come to me. And so hopefully I could talk more to his roommate to make sure that he doesn't continue to make Marcus feel uncomfortable in his own room. I also advise Marcus's roommate to just get along because at the end of the day, those two students are going to be living with each other throughout the duration of the semester and through the year. So it's really important and critical for them to get along. Moving on to the third question, what, if any, resources would you provide the students involved? So what I would most likely do in a scenario like that is just provide another roommate agreement. And I would say just fill it out from scratch and be honest too, where you're coming from. Since you are living with them for a couple of weeks now and you get to know each other more rather than at the beginning of the year, it's better just to start from fresh again and just move from there. And if that's not enough, I would recommend them to go to Cook Counseling and get a better, professional advice on what to do with the scenario. On to the fourth question, what further information would you need? So, as I said earlier, I would just want a full understanding of the whole situation. So I don't want just Marcus's side of the scenario. I also want Marcus's roommate and also Marcus's roommate's guest because it's really easy when you're only asking one person for them just to provide their view of the problem or even provide biases. So just getting a full understanding will really help in the scenario. Finally, for the fifth question, what would you need from your supervisors to be successful? Probably just any conflict resolution tips. That would be pretty helpful in scenarios like this. Alright, that was all for Scenario A, so moving on to Scenario E now. It basically states, Amelia is a first-year student living in your corridor who has came to you with concerns regarding her roommate. You receive a text from Amelia asking if her roommate can be moved to another building as their roommate situation just isn't working. You say you would be happy to meet with Amelia to hear her concerns and offer advice. In the meeting, Amelia talks a great deal about how her roommate, Quan Nguyen, doesn't speak English and how her food smells. She continues to say, and they always leave the kitchen a mess, don't you think? I don't know why they just don't go eat off campus. There are a million Chinese restaurants. And now to relate the scenario with the questions. So for question one, what would you do in this scenario? So in this scenario, it seems like there's a lot of biases provided by Amelia, and she's trying to persuade me in order to go on her side more than Quan Nguyen's side, and that's not truly fair for Quan Nguyen. But then I would remind Amelia that I'm truly a mediator. I'm not taking any side, so I would truly hit the point home that I would like to have a meeting with both Amelia and Hua Huin to truly understand both sides. So it's present that Hua Huin may not speak English. So if I have a meeting with both Hua Huin and Amelia, and I can't understand Hua Huin, I would look towards a cultural resource center to hopefully find a translator for Hua Huin so we can all understand her and her side too. While meeting with Hua Huin and Amelia, I would be focusing again on the roommate agreement as well. So with that, if they don't have a roommate agreement already, I would focus on making a new one, because it seems like they just need to meet on the middle about things. But also focus on the point that if the food may smell bad to Amelia, that Hua Huin may some days just have to eat elsewhere. And same for Amelia, just have an equal balance with things, and everything will be okay. Alright, moving down to the second question, how would you advise, support, or educate the students involved? So what I would do is I would advise both Hua Huin and Amelia to just meet in the middle and make a roommate agreement about this situation. Because right now, like in our current state with COVID-19, it's going to be very difficult and basically impossible for them to make room changes. So with a scenario like this, it's not severe enough for a roommate change to occur. Moving on to the third question, what, if any, resources would you provide the students involved? So I would do the same for scenario A. I would provide a new document for a new roommate agreement, and I also would, if the scenario continues to worsen, I would recommend them to go to cook counseling. On to the fourth question, what further information would you need? So basically what I would need in this scenario is just information from both Amelia and Hua Huin, so I can get a full understanding of the scenario, and so I would not have just a one-sided or biased view of the situation. Finally, on to the fifth question, what would you need from your supervisors to be successful? Again, similar to scenario A, just further conflict resolution tips would be very helpful in scenarios like these. But that's practically it for my final assessment. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.